North Korean soldiers are dying. Recent reports from an American official states that the DPRK soldiers finally clashed with Ukrainian soldiers at the Kursk border, and this resulted in multiple casualties for the Koreans.
Russian Marines, together with the North Korean military, launched an offensive in the Kursk region, but they suffered losses, according to Forbes.
How much damage did the North Korean soldiers suffer? And why has Kim Jong-un refused to pull back his troops from Russia? On the 31st of October, 2024, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken announced during a press conference that around 8,000 North Korean soldiers had been deployed to Kursk Oblast, a region west of Russia, to help Moscow in its war against Ukraine.
We now assess that there are some 10,000 North Korean soldiers in total in Russia. And the most recent information indicates that as many as 8,000 of those North Korean forces have been deployed to the Kursk region.
Back in August, Ukrainian soldiers captured several settlements in Kursk, marking the first time since World War II that Russian territory was occupied by a foreign military. And ever since, Moscow has been trying to take the region back from Ukraine. However, they have been largely unsuccessful, mostly due to the technology and support the West provides Ukraine. With the pressure of a sinking military on his shoulders, Putin journeyed to Pyongyang, capital of North Korea, to ask Kim Jong-un for help. This visit was successful and resulted in Kim offering Putin thousands of North Korean soldiers for Russia's military efforts. But while these soldiers were first stationed in Kursk, new reports state that Moscow has begun using the DPRK soldiers to combat Ukraine in other regions of Russia. According to The Washington Post, Yuri Fedorenko, commander of the Ukrainian Achilles Battalion of the 92nd Ukrainian Brigade, seems to believe that North Korean soldiers are now present in the Belgorod region. Only 98 miles away from Kursk, the initial settlement. The commander further stated that he learned about the arrival of North Korean soldiers while analyzing intercepted data, and that he believes that the North Korean force will likely be used by Russia in Belgorod's second line of defense. This tactic would free up Russian forces to focus on offensive maneuvers in northeastern Ukraine, allowing Russia greater flexibility in managing its military resources. North Korean troops will be stationed in key positions to reinforce Russian defense lines, potentially serving as a shield against advancing Ukrainian forces. To fully confirm this story, Washington Post journalists spoke to the Ukrainian soldiers at Kursk. During the interview, one of the soldiers reported spotting a group of 6 North Korean soldiers through drone footage, while another soldier claimed he'd seen North Korean soldiers with his own eyes. But his fellow soldiers said the person he had seen was a Buryat. Buryats are a Mongolian ethnic group native to southeastern Siberia. And Ukrainian Defense Minister Rustem Umerov had previously stated that Russia was disguising North Koreans as Buryats. There are also reports that the North Koreans were given Russian passports and uniforms. This measure was taken at the start of the deployment so that the Kremlin could maintain plausible deniability.
North Korean troops being equipped with Russian uniforms in preparation for their frontline deployment. South Korea's intelligence agency says 1,500 Special Forces soldiers are already in the eastern part of Russia participating in training. Ukraine's president is calling for decisive actions from Kyiv's partners.
It is obvious that Putin fears peace, which is why he is looking for ways to escalate the aggression and involve North Korea on the front line. This is an obvious signal to the whole world as to who wants nothing but war.
Despite these measures, the Kremlin's actions have been exposed. And during a press conference in Kazan on October 24th, Russian President Vladimir Putin was asked about a satellite imagery reportedly showing North Korean troops stationed in Russia, and the president refused to give a straight answer.
According to Russia's state-owned news agency TASS, when asked about satellite imagery of North Korean troops during a press conference at the BRICS summit on Thursday, Russian President Vladimir Putin said that images are a serious thing. If there are images, then they reflect something.
We never doubted the leadership of North Korea treats our agreement seriously, but what we will do and how we will do it is up to us. We are in touch with our North Korean friends, and we will see how this process develops.
Putin's vague comments neither confirmed nor denied the involvement of North Korean forces, but it further fueled speculations. Many believe that Putin's response was deliberately vague to avoid direct confrontation on the subject. And to top it off, Russian state-aligned social media accounts, particularly on the Vkontakte platform, launched a coordinated propaganda campaign. The accounts quickly refuted claims of DPRK military's presence in Russia, framing the reports as propaganda meant to destabilize public opinion. However, adding to the already mounting evidence, a scout from Ukraine's 82nd Brigade, identified by the Washington Post as Alexander, reported viewing transcripts of intercepted communications between Russian soldiers. And in these conversations, the Russian soldiers allegedly discussed the arrival of North Korean troops, referring to them as Yellow and our allies. But Alexander also said that there was a possibility that the Russian soldiers could have known about the wiretap, and said those words to scare the Ukrainians. While this might be speculation, there's no doubt that the North Korean army is present in the Russian military, and the final confirmation was the recent clash between both militaries. On the 5th of November, 2024, Ukrainian Defense Minister Rustem Umerov reported that Ukrainian forces and North Korean soldiers had finally clashed, describing the encounter as a small firefight.
North Korean troops clashed with Ukrainian troops in the Kursk region. This most likely occurred in an attempt to probe the Ukrainian defense line in the region, the New York Times reports. It is noted that this battle in the Kursk region was limited and not large-scale. The information about the clash between the Ukrainian and North Korean military was confirmed to the American press by a senior US official and a Ukrainian official on condition of anonymity. The Ukrainian official told the New York Times that the clash was likely intended to test the Ukrainian line of weaknesses. The Ukrainian official added that the DPRK soldiers were fighting alongside Russia's 810th Separate Marine Brigade.
On November 6th, American officials confirmed this information to Reuters, and sources of the New York Times reported that the DPRK military suffered its first casualties in this battle.
The US official told the New York Times that a significant number of North Korean troops were killed in the clash. Ukraine's leader Volodymyr Zelensky, who had earlier condemned the West's lack of response to the North Korean troops, said these first battles with North Korea open a new chapter of instability in the world. Ukraine says an estimated 11,000 North Korean soldiers were in the Kursk border region, where Ukrainian troops have a foothold.
While Kim Jong-un may have lost some soldiers at the forefront of the war, the alliance with Russia might be worth it for the supreme leader. For some time now, both countries have been facing heavy international scrutiny and sanctions. But with this union, they have found common ground. By offering military troops to Russia, North Korea gains economic and political benefits that strengthens its position on the global stage. This may include aid in the form of food, fuel, or other essential goods that North Korea struggles to obtain due to the sanctions. North Korea also gains access to advanced Russian military technology, training, and tactical expertise, valuable resources that North Korea has been unable to access due to Western sanctions. Ultimately, this alliance puts North Korea on the path to achieving self-reliance and potentially standing up to their neighbor rival, South Korea. If any conflict should arise, North Korea might feel secure in the fact that it has the right technology to battle the South. While Ukraine may have won their first battle against North Korea's troops, Trump's victory in the presidential elections might change the course of this conflict. So check out this deep dive, where I'll show you what a Trump victory means for Ukraine.